So this is the trap queen practice. So it's really focused on the trapezius muscle. And the trapezius muscle is trapezoidal shape. That's how it gets its name. It's a big diamond that connects up kind of at the base of your skull, goes along your neck, out to the outer edges of your shoulder blades, and then comes down and attaches onto your spine. And the upper part of the traps is what helps shrug our shoulders up. And the upper traps can tend to get really tight. And when they do get tight, that can give us like headaches and neck aches and just feel like a lot of tension up in our shoulders. So the goal of today's practice is to unglue the shoulders, the shoulder blades from the neck and from the head, and to let the shoulders relax down and away, and to see what we can do to kind of open up and relax, lengthen and release some of the tension that we might tend to carry in our upper traps. So yeah, let's get started on that. We'll start out with some breathing, and I'm going to sit up on my cushion. Feel free to sit up on a block, something just to elevate your hips a little bit, and that can make it comfier to sit for a while. And the breathing exercise that I would offer today is Nadi Shodhana, or an alternate nostril breathing. So we can find Vishnu Mudra by taking the peace fingers, index and long finger, and put them into the hand. And we've got our thumb and our ring finger and pinky out here. So we can begin by closing off the right nostril and then breathing in through the left. And then before we breathe out, we'll switch, close off the left nostril, and then breathe out through the right. We'll breathe in through the right. So we switch nostrils right before we breathe out. You can carry on at the speed of your own breath, bringing your focus to the duration, the smoothness of each breath. We have time here for several cycles, so we can really settle into our seat, come into the room. If you ever get lost with the breathing, you can breathe in and then switch before you breathe out. Come to the end of a cycle by breathing out of your left nostril. And then once you've come to the end of your cycle, you can just bring your hands into your lap. Breathing through both nostrils. Enjoying this sense of calm before we start practice. Bring a bit more movement into our breath. We can bring our fingertips out to just touch the floor. And then as we inhale, slowly bring the arms up. So the hands come to touch at the end of an inhale. And then exhale. Come back down. At the end of the exhale, fingers touch the floor. You can go through several cycles of this, moving at the speed of your own breath, really thinking about lining up breath and movement, finding a Nice link and connection there. Next inhale, we'll bring both arms up, and then we'll drop the right arm down, and then letting our left hip be heavy, we'll arc over towards the right. So really expanding through the left side of the body, feeling a sense of buoyancy through the rib cage. Maybe drawing the left elbow, left shoulder back just slightly. Take one more deep breath in here, and then we'll come up with both hands, long, tall spine. Deep breath in here, and then with an exhale, coming over to the other side. Expanding, rising up through the rib cage, drawing the top shoulder back. Letting both hips be heavy here. Take one more deep breath in here, and then come back to center with arms up. We'll take a deep breath in here, and then we'll bring the left arm forward, right arm back. Fingertips can come down to touch the floor. We open our chest, our belly button over to the right-hand side. Here for a few breaths, growing tall with every inhale. And on every exhale, feeling your belly button drawing towards your knee. Next inhale brings our hands all the way up, turning to face the center, and then exhale over to the opposite side, one hand in front, one hand behind. Belly button drawing over diagonally towards our knee. Growing tall on every inhale. Next inhale brings us all the way up to center, and then we can bring our hands back out where our fingertips are just barely touching the floor. And from here, we'll bring in a little bit of a little more focused lengthening through the neck. So let's drop left ear over to left shoulder. And you can keep your right fingers touching the floor, or if you like, you can start to lift them up and stretch them away. So we want this right shoulder to be really heavy, drawing down, sinking down towards the floor, but fingers stretching away. And to take out some of the slack and some of the tissue, some of the fascia here, you could also send a little energy through the heel of your palm. Almost drawing your fingers back like you're going to press on a kind of a diagonal wall. Left ear is heavy, drawing down towards the shoulder. Right shoulder is heavy, drawing down towards the ground. From here, we can start to bring our gaze down slightly, maybe looking towards our knee. Maybe our chin starts to draw a little closer to our shoulder. So continuing to let the right shoulder be heavy, stretching out a different part of our neck here. You can bring your teeth gently to touch. Breathing into the lengthening of the muscles alongside your neck. One more deep breath in here, and then as we exhale, we can start to bring the gaze upward. Maybe starting to reach out with the chin, lengthening across the diagonal part of the neck here. Right shoulder is heavy. Left ear is heavy. more deep breath in here. We draw up towards the center. Take a few gentle neck rotations looking side to side. And now we can bring our hands out and prepare for the other side. So this time dipping right ear towards right shoulder. And letting the left shoulder be relaxed, sinking away down towards the floor. These can be straight ahead here. Option with your hands to keep your fingers lightly touching the floor if you like. Starting to stretch the fingers away. Maybe even bringing a little energy through the heel of the hand. Letting the left shoulder continue to draw down, relax away from the head, down away from the neck. Take a deep breath in here and then start to bring our gaze down slightly, maybe towards the knee. Find a few breaths here and then at your own pace and noticing what the effects are of these small movements. Maybe starting to bring the gaze towards your shoulder, any amount. Bringing your teeth to gently touch. Take a deep breath in here and then bring the gaze forward and then bringing the gaze slightly up as we lengthen the throat, starting to extend the chin. Left shoulder stays heavy. Breathing into the lengthening of the muscles alongside the neck. One more deep breath in here and then gently come back up to neutral and do a couple of head rotations. From here, we'll start to bring our chin down and back a little bit. So really lengthening through the front or lengthening the back of the neck. Going up really long, the back of the head. Bring the chin down slightly, but especially tucking it in. From here, we can start to lengthen our chin up. You can come up with the chin past horizontal, lifting the chin any amount that feels comfortable on the neck. And rather than dumping the head backwards, we're really actively pointing the chin up diagonally. So maybe thinking about aiming to where the wall meets the ceiling. Teeth come together to gently touch. Both shoulders relax down and away from the ears. Take a deep breath in here, and then we will move through that. Chin tucking in, length through the back of the neck. Slowly, gently opening up the throat. Chin points upward, shoulders melting down. A few more cycles of this. We'll bring our head back to neutral. Another couple of gentle head rotations. And then we can prepare to come forward into an all fours position. So coming into tabletop, clearing away any props you might have. So finding our tabletop, we'll start out with a bit of cat pause. So peeling the hand off and then squeezing the fist in and peel back down. Do this at your own pace. A nice warm up for the fingers, hands, and wrists. And when that feels like enough, you can plant your hands down again right underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers out. Claw in a little bit with your finger pads. And from here, we'll do a cat-cow stretch. So inhale, chin comes up, tailbone comes up, exhale, tucking the chin in, curling the tailbone under, letting this be really gentle to start. Moving at the speed of your own breath. And there's time here to focus on the quality, the smoothness and duration of each breath. You can come back to a neutral spine. We can bring our right hand into the center of the mat. Lift up with the left, so we have a big hug, a big opening for this side of the room. And then as we exhale, we can thread the needle, thread our arm down so that we come down onto the side of our head, maybe onto our ear, let our shoulder rest. If your head doesn't reach the ground, you can always come down on a bolster, on a block. The palm of the hand is shining up towards the ceiling. We can think about opening up in between the shoulder blades. One more deep breath in here. Press down, and then one big stretch back to that side of the room. Coming back to a tabletop, our other hand will come to the center of our mat under our chest. Reaching up. Big hug for this side of the room, and then as we exhale, back of the hand comes to the floor and slides through. Opening up the back of the shoulder. Breathing into that opening in the chest, or opening along the back between the shoulder blades. Take another breath in here, and then exhale, start to come up, pressing down with the hand. Inhale, a big opening. We'll come back, find ourselves in tabletop. This time we can bring our ball in close to us. So we'll take a deep breath in on our first side. And we'll exhale, rather than reaching straight out to the side, think about reaching back in between your legs. And then you might be able to bring the ball into the meaty part of your upper traps. So your head and your shoulder will be laying on the ground. The ball will be laying on the ground. And you may find a little massage there. You could also place the a ball on a block if it felt like it was a little too far to reach the floor. Just by moving gently side to side, maybe back and forth. That feels like enough. We can come back and give a try on the other side. And maneuvering until we find the right spot for the ball, and then the right orientation for our body. That feels like enough on that side. We can set the ball off to the side for the time being. Bring our hands underneath our shoulders, spreading out our fingers, knees underneath hips. We can tuck our toes and then come up slowly into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Letting the knees stay bent here. Letting the sitting bones shine up towards the ceiling. Breathing into this downward dog. Start to bend our knees, bring our gaze up in between our hands, and then take as many steps as you need to walk your feet up behind your hands. Come into Uttanasana near the front of your mat. Letting your head be heavy. Letting your weight be centered over your feet. Letting your knees be bent here and having a generous bend in your knees so your upper body can relax onto your thighs. Ground down through the feet, charge up through the legs. Inhale, coming all the way up, and then we'll exhale, hands alongside the body. We'll find Tadasana, the front of our mat. So feet are about hip width apart, pressing out slightly on the outer edges of the feet. Pulling up on the kneecaps, using the thigh muscles. Letting the sitting bones, letting the tailbone descend down towards the heels, and then drawing in on the abdominal muscles. So supporting a long, tall spine. Roll our shoulders back, pulling our shoulder blades down slightly to let our chest rise forward. Palms shining forward. A humble tap of the chin here. Bring our palms to heart center. Take a deep breath in. Arms coming all the way up, and then exhale, swan dive forward over bent knees. Letting the head go. Letting the sitting bones curl up and back. We'll bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, bringing the gaze forward, long, flat back. And then exhale, relaxing back down into forward fold. Charging up through the legs, drawing up through the tummy to support the spinal. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, palms shining forward. We can open up a little bit more through the back of our shoulders here with Garudasana, or eagle pose. So from here we can bring the arms all the way up. You can wiggle the fingers of your left hand. And then that is the arm that is going to swing down and be under. So left hand under. From here, with this eagle arms, we're already getting an opening through the back of the shoulders. So you can breathe into that. Option to sit into a chair pose here. And if you are sitting down into a chair, option to lift up with the left foot and maybe cross it over the right, so the left leg on top. Maybe your toes can even come down to form a little kickstand here, or maybe toes onto a block. Or if it works in your body, you can twist your legs around so your foot wraps around your ankle. Wherever your legs are, whether you're standing tall or in a chair or in eagle legs, you can rise up through your elbows any amount, and then drop forward through your hands any amount. Inviting your breath to come into the space in between your shoulder blades, so broadening out through your back, and then also feeling a sense of, as your elbows lift up, shoulder blades dropping down, so letting there be some length through the shoulder. Take a deep breath in here, and then as we exhale, we can come up, release into a big star shape, maybe giving a little shake out arms and legs. When that feels like enough, you can find stillness at the front of your mat, and we'll go for the other side. Deep breath in, arms come all the way up. This time we are identifying the right fingers. It will be the right hand that comes underneath, the right arm underneath. And from here, deciding what you'd like to do with your legs. Maybe coming in a chair, maybe crossing right leg over, kickstand, block. Maybe your foot finds its way around your ankle. Whatever position you have for your legs, but drawing the elbows up, letting the bottom tips of the shoulder blades descend down. Letting the hands drop forward any amount. Inviting our breath to come into the space in between the shoulder blades. Opening, relaxing, smoothing out through the back body. Like a sense of inflation between the shoulders. Take one more deep breath in here, and then exhale, hop into a big star shape. Relax, shake out arms and legs. Invite the circulation back into those limbs where we had that squeeze, kind of squeezing out the fluid. We're opening it up, invite it back in. From here, this might be a good opportunity to use a strap, if you have one. And I'm going to put the strap over my neck in case I need it. Spot in my fine Tadasana with the feet parallel, tailbone dropping, abdominal muscles drawing in. Bring my weight into my right foot, pick up through the left foot. From here, I'm gonna bring my hands to clasp, so holding on to the knee in this way. The other option here would be to use the strap for this. And the reason to have a strap is as we start to tip the weight forward, letting the arms be straight. Let the weight of our leg actually pull our shoulder blades down away from our ears. So we're tucking our chin in slightly, drawing the chin back, lengthening through the back of the neck. Bending forward any amount, just enough to get the feeling of the weight of our leg pulling down through our shoulders. Drawing in on the abdomen here so that we have support for our spine in this flexed position. Take a deep breath in here. We can return to a standing position of our leg and let it descend nicely. Take any little steps that you like, and then we can take this over to the other side. So pouring the weight into the other foot, that's our standing leg now. Drawing up our knee, keeping our hips level. If you do interlace your fingers, consider when you go to the second side, interlacing your fingers the other way. Different kind of balance in the body. From here, as you're ready, you're going to draw your chin in and back. Letting the leg be heavy, letting the arms be pulled straight. Letting your shoulder blades relax down and away from your ears using the weight of your leg. Flamingo pose. Take a deep breath in here and then return to upright spine, gaze forward, release the hands, and then gently let the foot come down. Coming up to the top of your mat, and take a deep breath in, arms coming all the way up. And then exhale, swan diving forward over bent knees. Letting the upper body relax onto the thighs. And the head be heavy. From here, we can start to come into a squat. And the option here is to bring the knees forward, so into a kneeling position with the toes tucked under. If you prefer, you can come onto your heels. You can sit up on a block, any variation that works for you. It is nice to have your legs together for this rather than open because of the way that will pull the tissues along the back side of your body and help us to lengthen our neck forward. So from here, we're going to tuck our chin in and back, as we did before, and we're going to take our hands, interlace to the back of our head, and continuing to be active with the chin pulling back, we'll let the weight of our hands near the top of our head add a little more length. If this feels like too much pressure, you can always bring your hands down onto your knees. And from here, we can bring our head up to neutral, gaze looking straight ahead. We can kind of cradle the back of our head with our hands, and we'll make sure that our neck is really neutral here. And from here, without moving, we'll press forward with our hands, press backwards with our head, and without moving, we're sort of activating the muscles along the back side. And as you do this, thinking about lengthening through the back of the neck, letting the shoulder blades come down. And then you can release that, release your hands. If you have been on your toes this whole time, you can release your toes. Might feel good to have a little bit of drumming on the tops of your feet. And from here we have another deep flexion pose called the rabbit pose. So for here, we'll hold on to our heels and we'll curl in. As we do this, you want to commit to keeping your gaze straight ahead, and we're curling in almost like a snail or a cinnamon bun. So if you want to see this happen before you try it, then maybe pause for a moment and take a look at how this looks. So I'm curling my chin in, holding on to my heels, bringing my head towards my knees, and at this stage my head is not touching the floor yet. Arms are straight, and I'm letting the pull of my straight arms pull my shoulder blades away from my ears. So we get both sides at the same time, kind of like the flamingo pose. And from here, I'm rising up through my hips, up through my kidneys. And there's no weight under the head. So there might not be very much space, but if there's a piece of paper under your head, you should be able to move it around rather than dumping your weight forward. So let's give that a try. Tucking the chin in, bringing the hands back to the feet, and if it's too hard to hold on to your heels, you can always hold on to a strap. Rolling down, hips start to lift, top of the head comes towards the knees, and the arms are straight so that we can get that lengthening, a sense of moving the shoulder blades towards the hips. Inviting that length into the traps. Drawing in on the tummy so that you're supporting your spine in that flexed position. Take another deep breath in there and exhale as you start to curl up. Take a moment. You're kneeling with a tall spine, gaze straight ahead. We can move our props out of the way and start to come down onto our tummies. So from here, we'll find a Sphinx pose. And let's start out low because we've done a lot of flexion, a lot of bending forward. It'll be gentle back bending. Press your tops of your feet into the mat. Press your pubic bone into the mat. Maybe starting with your elbows a little ahead of your shoulders. Deciding as you breathe into this if you'd like to move your shoulders or move your elbows back. Finding a bit of length here, so opening the chest forward, letting the heart shine forward. Maybe finding a bit of gripping in the mat so we can kind of, even without moving, shine our heart forward a little bit more. Pressing down into the elbows. And sometimes because we're back bending, it's tempting to point the chin up. You can also find length through the back of the neck. Keeping the chin level with the ground. Take one more deep breath in here and then exhale, lengthen forward as we go down. Head lands onto the hands, and bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Another opening or stretching for the front body. You can take your right arm,
Spread it out beside you with your palm down on the ground. And then your left leg, you can point your foot up towards the ceiling. And this is like a prone scorpion twist. We're gonna stretch our scorpion tail back behind us. Reach it over, let this be opening of the chest. Depending on the size of your chest, you might want to actually help yourself shift so the moving the flesh out of the way in a more comfortable way. You could also come up with the side of the body on a bolster if you need a little more space. From here, we're opening up the chest, so helping the shoulder blades to sort of melt backwards by releasing some of the tension, pulling them forwards. Opening diagonally across the front of the body, knees bent. Maybe the toe touches the floor behind you, but it doesn't have to. Breathing into this expansion on the front side of the body. You can exhale, melt your way back onto the mat, and we'll find the other side. Spreading the left arm out this time. Again, movements that you need to find your comfy position on the mat. Reaching back with your scorpion tail. With your left palm facing down towards the floor. A nice gentle stretch through the chest. Nice opening along the front side of the body. Leg drawing back. One more deep breath in here. Melt our way back onto the mat. And then from here, we will need one ball and one block. So from here, we'll find our block underneath our head like a pillow. We can lie on our side. Legs can be bent, whatever position is helps you with balance and helps you feel supported. And then we'll take the ball into the masseter muscle, so the jaw muscle. So now the ball is in between us and the block. We get to rotate side to side. It's hard to do this and talk. So maybe small circles, maybe up and down, back and forth. Letting your jaw melt onto the ball. And then from there, we can start to move the ball up towards the temple. Making some nice gentle circles, moving back and forth. If you find a spot that seems a little tight, a little knotted up, feel free to stick there. I'm going to take the ball right under the ear, behind and under. A small space, but often there's a few muscles in there. And then to finish off, we can bring the ball close to the temple. And we can see if there's opportunity for us to roll along the forehead, along the eyebrows. You're finding that little spot between the eyes. When that feels like enough, you can move over to the other side. So feel free to just roll over on your block. Find the masseter muscle on the other side. Finding some back and forth. Maybe little circles. We can bring the ball up towards the temple. Bring the ball into the little space just behind, just under the ear. Your head kind of melts onto the block of the ball. So we're getting muscles that are not the traps here. But sometimes the muscles that are close by because they share connection points onto the same bones and sometimes connected to the same fascia. When one is tight, the other ones will be tight as well. So as we relax and release some of the tension from these muscles, you can come up to your forehead. Gives our traps also the opportunity to relax. That feels like enough. Roll onto your back. And then we'll find the ball under the occiput. See if we can get under these two little twin bumps at the base of your skull. This is where the upper traps, kind of their uppermost portion, close to this spot. So as we gentle wiggle side to side, some of these muscles spread out, lengthen. And when that feels like enough, you can take your ball off to the side, remove your block. We could bring our hands to the back of our head as we did before. We can, without pressing into our hands, we can just lift and lengthen our neck. Let your shoulders be heavy. And slowly, gently, we can lengthen our neck down. Curling down, getting longer. Letting our head set down onto the mat. So we've really maximized the distance between our shoulders and our neck by really lengthening our neck. Let's try that one more time. Lift the head up. Tuck the chin in, lengthening through the back of the neck. Lengthen the neck be as long as it can. And there we can spread our hands, our arms out, let the backs of our hands come on the mat. If you feel like you need any knees in a chest or happy baby, you could feel free to take those movements now. If you're ready, you could start to straighten your legs. Start to come into Savasana. Final relaxation of this practice. Letting your feet flop lazily on their sides. Letting your ankles be loose and relaxed.
Your calves be heavy. Sink into the mat. Letting your knees juicy and alive. Your thighs be heavy. Spread out and sink down into the mat. Allowing a sense of spaciousness in your pelvis. So the left and right halves of your pelvis move apart from one another just slightly. Just enough to let your sacrum sink down into the mat. Feeling your full spine contact the mat. Sensing that same feeling of spaciousness in your shoulders. Your shoulder blades spread out, widen. Your full shoulder blade sink down into the mat. Opening, spreading wide across your chest. Letting your arms be heavy. Elbows be loose. Letting go of any gripping or tension in your forearms. The backs of your hands come down to contact the mat. Your fingers can curl in gently. Your neck lengthen. And all the different muscles in your neck let go of their grip on one another. Find a sense of space, kind of sliding separateness between them. Letting your head be heavy. Your head makes a little circle, a little dent in the mat. Imagine this dent getting a little bit wider as your head becomes heavier, sinking down into the mat. Finding your breath, letting go of any need to control the breath. Letting go of any need to control the body. Relaxing fully into the earth, knowing that she'll be there to support you. And this feeling of security, you can truly let go and relax. Start to bring some movement into your fingers, into your toes. Maybe circling your wrists and your ankles. Gently rocking your head side to side. And then if you like, you can bring your arms alongside your head for a big stretch. Arms and legs. Maybe a big yawn. When you're ready, you can roll yourself onto your right hand side. Use your arm like a pillow. We take a moment here to consolidate the practice. Think about how it went, what you noticed. If there were any postures or any thoughts where you could detect tension in your traps. And then any times that you were able to let go in your traps. These are the things that a yoga practice can teach us and help us to learn about ourselves. But without attaching any judgment to it, we can bring the learning forward even as we put this practice behind us. Kiss it goodbye. And then gently come up to a seated position. Bring your hands out to your knees. We'll take a deep breath in here. As we exhale, bring the hands to heart center in front of the chest. Thanks for practicing today. Namaste.
Namaste.